For nearly half a century, the world lived under the shadow of nuclear war. Two global superpowers competed for influence across continents, built enormous arsenals of nuclear weapons, and raced to dominate science, technology, and space. Although they never fought each other directly, their rivalry shaped the modern world. This was the Cold War. When World War II ended in 1945, much of Europe lay in ruins. The United States and the Soviet Union had fought together against Nazi Germany, but their alliance quickly gave way to suspicion. As old powers weakened, these two nations emerged as the world's new superpowers. The rivalry was driven by two very different political and economic systems. The United States supported democracy, free elections, and capitalism, while the Soviet Union promoted communist rule and a state-controlled economy. Each believed its system offered the best future and sought to expand its influence around the world. Europe soon became divided. The Soviet Union established communist governments across Eastern Europe, while Western Europe aligned with the United States. In 1946, former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill described this growing divide as an Iron Curtain descending across the continent. The United States responded with a policy known as containment, designed to prevent the spread of communism. Through the Truman Doctrine and the Marshall Plan, America provided military and economic support to countries resisting communist influence, helping rebuild much of Western Europe after the war. One of the first major confrontations came in Berlin. In 1948, the Soviet Union blocked land access to West Berlin, hoping to force the Western Allies out of the city. Instead of backing down, the United States and its allies launched the Berlin Airlift, flying in food, fuel, and supplies for nearly a year until the blockade was lifted. As tensions grew, both sides formed powerful military alliances. In 1949, the United States and its allies created NATO. 6 years later, the Soviet Union responded by forming the Warsaw Pact, dividing Europe into two heavily armed blocs. At the same time, both superpowers built vast nuclear arsenals. Each developed increasingly powerful atomic and hydrogen bombs, along with long-range missiles capable of striking across continents. The fear that a nuclear war would destroy both sides helped prevent direct conflict, a balance known as mutually assured destruction. Instead of fighting each other directly, the superpowers competed through proxy wars. The first major conflict erupted in Korea, where North Korea invaded South Korea in 1950. A United Nations force led by the United States defended the South, while China supported the North. After 3 years of fighting, the war ended in a stalemate, leaving the Korean peninsula divided to this day. Competition also reached beyond Earth. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, the world's first artificial satellite, beginning the space race. 4 years later, Yuri Gagarin became the first human in space. The United States answered with the Apollo program, landing astronauts on the Moon in 1969. The Cold War reached its most dangerous moment during the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. After the Soviet Union placed nuclear missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles from the United States, the world stood on the brink of nuclear war. After days of tense negotiations, both sides reached an agreement that avoided catastrophe. Another major proxy conflict unfolded in Vietnam. Determined to contain communism, the United States became deeply involved in the war, while North Vietnam received support from the Soviet Union and China. The conflict lasted for years and demonstrated the limits of military power in achieving political goals. Cold War rivalry extended across the globe. From Afghanistan and Angola to Latin America and the Middle East, the United States and the Soviet Union backed opposing governments and movements, competing for influence without engaging each other directly. During the 1970s, relations briefly improved in a period known as détente. Arms control agreements reduced some tensions, but cooperation proved temporary. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 renewed hostility and intensified the rivalry once again. By the 1980s, the Soviet Union faced growing economic problems. Under the leadership of Mikhail Gorbachev, reforms known as glasnost and perestroika attempted to modernize the country. As communist governments weakened across Eastern Europe, the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, becoming a powerful symbol of the Cold War's end. In 1991, the Soviet Union officially dissolved, bringing nearly 50 years of Cold War rivalry to a close. Although the conflict ended without a direct war between the two superpowers, its impact continues to shape international politics, military alliances, and global security today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to learn more about major events in world history, consider subscribing for future episodes.